Vedic period questions and answers. Question 1. What region is considered the cradle of Vedic culture? Answer. Ganga Valley. 2. Question. What archaeological discovery has supplemented Vedic literature? Answer. Painted grey ware PGW. 3. Question. When did the regular use of iron begin in India? Answer. 800 to 750 BC. 4. Question. What was the economy of Rigvedic society based on? Answer. Pastoralism. 5. Question. What is the oldest literary creation in India? Answer. Rigveda. 6. Question. What kind of political system existed during the Rigvedic period? Answer. Tribal. 7. Question. What was the main occupation in the Rigvedic society? Answer. Cattle keeping. 8. Question. What term referred to the social divisions in Rigvedic society? Answer. Brahman, Rajanya, Vaishya. 9. Question. What was the main economic change in the later Vedic period? Answer. Settled agriculture. 10. Question. What is the key feature of the later Vedic caste system? Answer. 4 Varnas. 11. Question. Which territories emerged in the later Vedic period? Answer. Janpadas. 12. Question. What ritual became more elaborate during the later Vedic period? Answer. Sacrificial rituals. 13. Question. What type of kingship emerged during the later Vedic period? Answer. Territorial kingdoms. 14. Question. What is the role of priests in the later Vedic political system? Answer. Control rituals and ceremonies. 15. Question. What was the technological advancement in the later Vedic period? Answer. Iron tools. 16. Question. What does the word aryan literally mean? Answer. Of high birth. 17. Question. What is the main focus of the debate on the original home of the Aryans? Answer. Language versus race. 18. Question. Who first identified the linguistic similarities between Sanskrit and European languages? Answer. Filippo Sassetti. 19. Question. Who suggested that the similarities between Indo-European languages could be traced to a mother language? Answer. Sir William Jones. 20. Question. What term did Max Mueller use to describe Indo-European languages? Answer. Aryan. 21. Question. What is the general consensus about the meaning of the term Aryan? Answer. Language. 22. Question. What language is similar to Rigvedic Sanskrit and also part of the Indo-Iranian culture? Answer. Zend Avesta Old Persian. 23. Question. Which archaeological discovery provides evidence of the Aryans in West Asia? Answer. Bogas-Kui inscriptions. 24. Question. What important peace treaty is mentioned in the Bogas-Kui inscriptions? Answer. The peace treaty between the Hittites and the Mariani rulers of Mitanni. 25. Question. What Vedic gods were invoked in the peace treaty from the Bogas Kui inscriptions? Answer: Indra, Varuna, Mitra, Nasatis. 26 question. What archaeological evidence is linked to the Aryans in India? Answer: painted grey ware culture. 27 question. Where is the epicenter of the painted grey ware culture located? Answer: Ganga, Yamuna, Doab. 28 question. What physical characteristics are attributed to the Aryans in the Vedas? Answer: tall, white skin, radiant complexion, fair hair. 29 question. Why is it difficult to identify the racial characteristics of the Aryans? Answer: no skeletal remains have been identified, and the Aryans mixed with local populations. 30 question. What region is considered the most plausible original home of the Aryans? Answer: southern Russia or Eurasia. 31 question. Which tribe migrated to Cappadocia around 1950 BC? Answer: Hittites. 32 question. When did the Indo-Aryans enter India? Answer: around 1500 BC, but not earlier than 2000 BC. 33 question. Which region is mentioned as the home of the Indo-Iranians around 2000 BC? Answer: the Pamirs and the Oxus and Jaxartes valleys. 34 question. Who was the Greek Aryan tribe's destination in 1200 BC? Answer: Greece. 35 question. What is the term used to describe the language spoken by the undifferentiated Aryans before their separation? Answer: Indo-Iranian. 36 question. Which Persian king referred to himself as Aryan in the 6th century BC? Answer: King Darius I. 37 question. What does the term Arya represent in the Rig Veda? Answer: a cultural community. 38 question. What is the significance of the term Arya or Aryana? Answer: it referred to the region covering Afghanistan, parts of Persia, Bactria, and Sogdia. 39 question. What role does the horse play in Aryan culture? Answer: the horse symbolizes strength and is crucial to Indo-European life, especially in Vedic texts. 40 question. How many times is the term Asva, horse, mentioned in the Rig Veda? Answer: 215 times. 41 question. Which Vedic gods are associated with the horse? Answer: Indra and the Maruts. 42 question. What is the significance of the chariot in Indo-European culture? Answer: the chariot, associated with horse-drawn vehicles, is a key element in Vedic, Avestan, and Homeric texts. 43 question. When is the chariot believed to have originated? Answer: in the 4th millennium BC in Western Asia, reaching the steppes by 3000 BC. 44 question. What Indo-European practice is described in both Vedic and Homeric texts? Answer: chariot racing. 45 question. According to Richard Meadow, when was the horse first clearly identified in the Indian subcontinent? Answer: until 2000 BC, there is no clear osteological evidence of the horse, and the earliest evidence of the true horse in South Asia is from the Pirak complex in Baluchistan, around the 17th century BC. 46. Question. Where were horse bones found in layers dating to 2100 to 1700 BC? Answer. In Surkotara, located in the Kachi plains of Baluchistan. 47. Question. Where were horse bones found in the painted grey ware PGW phase? Answer. In Bhagwanpura Kurukshetra district and Hastinapur. 48. Question. What did the Harappan culture feature in terms of wheeled transport? Answer. Wheeled wagons appeared around 2500 BC, but spoked wheels were not used, although spokes are depicted in a toy vehicle and on a terracotta wheel from Dholavira. 49. Question. How did the domesticated horse revolutionize human life? Answer. It transformed subsistence, transport, and warfare, allowing for effective hunting, long-distance travel, and greater military potential. It also led to the rise of a horse-centered aristocracy and social differentiation. 50. Question. What was the significance of animal sacrifice in Vedic times? Answer. Animal sacrifice was linked to stock breeding, and the cattle sacrifice Pasubandha was a key practice. The king performed the Ashwamedha sacrifice with a horse to assert suzerainty. 51. Question. What was the fire altar used for in Vedic times? Answer. The fire altar was used to worship fire as an intermediary, and it also served as an oven for preparing food for the gods. It became more prominent in later Vedic texts. 52. Question. What is the connection between the fire altar and the Harappan culture? Answer. While fire altars were not widely found in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, some possible fire altars have been identified in sites like Amri, Lothal, and Kalibangan, suggesting influence from Vedic culture. 53. Question. What is the Soma cult, and where did it originate? Answer. The Soma Homa in a Western cult was important in both Vedic and Iranian traditions, involving a ritual drink. Its origins can be traced to Turkmenia around 1800 BC and later spread to India via Iran. 54. Question. How was cremation practiced in the Vedic period? Answer. Cremation is first recorded in the Swat Valley, and later Vedic texts 1000 to 500 BC confirm cremation practices, including the burial of bones after cremation. The Rig Veda and Atharva Veda describe the burning of animals alongside the deceased. 55. Question. Where did the practice of cremation first appear in the Indian subcontinent? Answer. Cremation first appeared in the Swat Valley, with later evidence in the Middle Gangetic Plains. 56. Question. How does male dominance manifest in Indo-European societies? Answer. Male dominance is attributed to the masculine qualities needed for plough cultivation and horse riding. It is reflected in early laws and terms that emphasized patriarchy, as seen in a Western and Greek texts. 57. What does the word Veda mean? Answer. Knowledge. 58. What is the Veda considered to be? Answer. Shruti. 59. Who are the sages that received the hymns? Answer. Mantradrashta. 60. Which Veda is the oldest and most important? Answer. Rig Veda. 61. How many hymns are there in the Rig Veda? Answer: 10-17. 62. What is the famous mantra in the Rig Veda? Answer: Gayatri. 63. How many parts does Vedic literature consist of? Answer: 2. 64. What are the four Samhitas in Vedic literature? Answer: Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva. 65. What is the purpose of the Samaveda? Answer: Chants. 66. Which Veda contains magic formulas? Answer: Atharva Veda. 67. What are Brahmanas about? Answer: Rituals. 68. What do Aranyakas deal with? Answer: Mysticism. 69. What are the Upanishads focused on? Answer: Philosophy. 70. How many important Upanishads are there? Answer: 12. 71. What is the distinction made in the Mundaka Upanishad? Answer: Higher and lower knowledge. 72. What does the term Upanishads imply? Answer: Speculative. 73. Which Veda does the Chandogya Upanishad belong to? Answer: Samaveda. 74. What is the Kausataki Aranyaka about? Answer: Fire oblation. 75. Which Brahmana is the most voluminous? Answer: Sataptha. 76. What is the focus of the Yajur Veda? Answer: Sacrifice. 71. Where does the idea of rebirth first appear? Answer: Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. 72. Which Upanishad presents the concept of repeated death? Answer: Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. 73. What does the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad suggest can ward off repeated death? Answer: Certain kinds of knowledge. 74. What doctrine is taught in the Chandogya Upanishad? Answer: Cosmic Self Vaisvanara Atman. 75. Who seeks knowledge of the self in the Chandogya Upanishad? Answer: Uddakla Aruni and 5 householders. 76. Who is taught about the non-difference of the individual soul from Brahman? Answer: Shvetketu. 77. How many Vedangas are there? Answer: 6. 78. Which Vedanga deals with phonetics? Answer: Shiksha. 79. Which Vedanga deals with rituals? Answer: Kalpa. 80. Which Vedanga deals with grammar? Answer: Vyakaran. 81. Which Vedanga deals with etymology? Answer: Nirukta. 82. Which Vedanga deals with metrics? Answer: Chandas. 83. Which Vedanga deals with astronomy? Answer: Jyotisha. 84. What is the difference between Vedic literature and Vedangas? Answer: Vedic literature is Shruti. Vedangas are Smriti. 85. What form is the Vedanga literature written in? Answer: Sutras. 86. Which sutra class deals with the great sacrifices? Answer: Sarota Sutras. 87. Which sutra class deals with domestic ceremonies? Answer: Grihya Sutras. 88. Which sutra class deals with laws, manners, and customs? Answer: Dharma Sutras. 89. What is the foundation of the Dharmasastras? Answer. Dharma Sutras. 90. Which sutras contain instructions on Vedic fire altars? Answer. Silva Sutras. 91. What theory has been rejected regarding the Aryans? Answer. Aryan invasion theory. 92. What shift has occurred in interpreting the history of the Vedic period? Answer. From reliance on literary sources to using archaeological data. 93. What has become the focus of studies related to Aryan language and culture? Answer. The development and spread of Indo-Aryan language. 94. How could the Indo-Aryan language have entered India? Answer. Through migrations, pastoralists, or traders. 95. What is the new emphasis in reconstructing Vedic society? Answer. Using both archaeological and literary data. 96. What was previously believed about Aryan conquests in northern India? Answer. That Aryans established a state system by subjugating indigenous people. 97. What is the new understanding regarding the evolution of the state in northern India? Answer. It was a gradual process over several centuries. 98. What does the archaeological evidence from the first millennium BC suggest? Answer. A variety of cultures in northern India. 99. What was the nature of settlements in early Vedic society? Answer. Simple, small settlements of cultivators and cattle raisers. 100. What kind of homes did early settlers live in? Answer. Wattle and daub huts, later mud brick structures. 101. What does archaeological evidence suggest about the lifestyle in early Vedic society? Answer. It was simple, with little evidence of grandeur. 102. What is the problem with identifying archaeological cultures as Aryan? Answer. Such identification remains hypothetical. 103. What alternative method is suggested for correlating archaeological cultures? Answer. Correlating with major lineages like Purus and Yadus. 104. What are some descriptions in the epics considered to be? Answer. Poetic fantasies or later interpolations. 105. What was the primary geographical area during the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Saptasindhu region. 106. What was the main geographical area during the later Vedic period? Answer. Gangetic Valley. 107. What was the economy like during the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Pastoralism migratory. 108. What type of economy prevailed in the later Vedic period? Answer. Agrarian settled. 109. What was the political system during the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Tribal democracy. 110. What was the political system like in the later Vedic period? Answer. Hereditary monarchy 90% and Ganarajas republics 10%. 111. What was the social structure like in the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Egalitarian, with occupational division. 112. What was the social structure in the later Vedic period? Answer. Birth-based Chaturvarna system. 113. What was the role of religion in the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Henotheism with importance on Indra, Agni, and Soma. 114. What was the religious focus in the later Vedic period? Answer. Continuation of 33 divinities with importance on Prajapati, Vishnu, and Rudra. 115. What type of ritualism was present in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Simple rituals and voluntary offerings. 116. What shift occurred in the religious practices in the later Vedic period? Answer. Ritualism and priest dominance, with revolts in Aranyakas and Upanishads. 117. How was the geographical knowledge of the Rig Vedic period limited? Answer. Difficult to identify regions due to changes in river courses and topographical features. 118. What was the main wealth indicator in the Rig Vedic economy? Answer. Cattle, horses, chariots, gold, and slave girls. 119. What evidence suggests that pastoralism and agriculture were linked in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Relationship between pastoralists and farmers, with evidence from archaeological and literary sources. 120. What was the primary social division in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Two Varnas, Arya and Dasa. 121. What were the Varnas in the later Vedic period? Answer. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. 122. What was the primary political unit in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Jana tribe. 123. What political term referred to a chief in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Raja chief, not king. 124. What was the smaller unit than Jana in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Vis, possibly a clan. 125. What regions did the later Vedic texts cover geographically? Answer. Western Ganga Plain, Middle Ganga Plain, foothills of the Himalayas, and Dakshin Patha. 126. What was the significance of North Bihar during the later Vedic period? Answer. Referred to as extensive marshland with pre-existing settlements from the Neolithic period. 127. What type of burial practices differentiated the Asuras from the Aryas? Answer. Megalithic burials of the Mirzapur region. 128. What change occurred in the economy during the later Vedic period? Answer. A gradual shift from pastoralism to agriculture, though pastoralism remained in some areas like Mathura. 129. What evidence suggests a shift towards agriculture in the later Vedic period? Answer. Fewer references to cattle and more references to grain in sacrificial rituals. 130. What agricultural practices were common in North Bihar? Answer. Wet rice cultivation, requiring seasonal rainfall and labor for irrigation and land control. 131. How did agriculture influence social structures in the later Vedic period? Answer. Labor-intensive agriculture created a social divide where a few controlled labor. 132. What role did caste and social stratification play in the later Vedic society? Answer. The four Varnas were clearly defined with hierarchical functions. The origin of caste is tied to economic, kinship, and religious factors. 133. What is the difference between Varna and Jati in the later Vedic period? Answer. Varna refers to ritual-based social stratification, while Jati is based on kinship relations with regional variations. 134. How did Jati influence caste hierarchy? Answer. Jati hierarchies were influenced by kinship patterns, regional variations, and control over productive resources. 135. How did political structures change in the later Vedic period? Answer. Larger political units emerged through the coalition of individual janas, leading to the evolution of the Raja into a king. 136. What role did sacrificial rituals play in the political transformation of the Vedic period? Answer. Elaborate rituals like Rajsuya, Ashwamedha, and Vajpaya enhanced the power of the king and Brahmins, contributing to the centralization of power. 137. How did the king's role evolve during the later Vedic period? Answer. The Raja gradually became a king, with power linked to religious rituals and an increased charismatic authority. 138. What were the characteristics of chiefdoms during the later Vedic period? Answer. Chiefdoms evolved into kingdoms, with tribute collected but not in the form of a regular tax system. Political authority was based on controlling people, not just resources. 139. What was the shift in the societal system between the Rig-Vedic and later Vedic periods? Answer. A shift from the lineage system in the Rig-Vedic period to a combined lineage and household economy in the later Vedic period, aiding in state formation. 140. What geographical region was covered by the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Saptasindhu, eastern Afghanistan, Punjab, western UP. 141. Which rivers are mentioned in the Rig Veda? Answer. Kubha, Krimu, Gomti, Sindhu, Vitase, Asikni, Parushni, Vipas, Sutudri, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Ghaggar, Sarayu. 142. What is the meaning of Samudra in the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. A collection of water, not sea. 143. Which mountains were known to Rig-Vedic sages? Answer. Himalayas, Himamvant. 144. What was the Battle of 10 Kings about? Answer. Conflict involving Sudas, Viswamitra, and 10 kings over the Parushni river. 145. Which tribes were involved in the Battle of 10 Kings? Answer. Bharathas, Puru, Yadu, Turvasa, Anu, Druhyu, Alina, Paktha, Bhalnas, Siva, Vishanan. 146. Where were the Matsyas and Chedas settled during the Rig-Vedic period? Answer. Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. 147. What is the significance of Videgha Madhva in the later Vedic period? Answer. Founder of Videha kingdom, expansion towards Gangetic plains. 148. What tribe formed the Kurus during the later Vedic period? Answer. Purus and Bharathas. 149. Where did the Kurus settle? Answer. Thanaswar, Delhi, Upper Gangetic Doab. 150. Who was the famous king of the Kuru kingdom? Answer. Parikshit. 151. What was the capital of Kosala kingdom? Answer. Ayodhya, later Shravasti. 152. Which kingdom had Janka as its ruler? Answer. Videha. 153. Where was Magad located in the later Vedic period? Answer. Southern Bihar. 154. Which tribes were associated with the Vratyas in the later Vedic period? Answer. Magads. 155. Where did the Vangas tribe live during the later Vedic period? Answer. Eastern Bengal. 156. Which tribes were located in the northern regions in the later Vedic period? Answer. Uttar Kurus, Uttar Madras, Gandharis, Kesins, Kekayas, Kambojas. 157. Which tribes were located in the southern regions in the later Vedic period? Answer. Satvanthas, Vidarbhs, Nishadas, Kuntis. 158 which seas are mentioned in the Sataptha Brahmana? Answer: Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea. 159 what regions are mentioned in the territorial divisions of India in the later Vedic texts? Answer: Aryavard, Madhyadesa, Dakshinpatha. 160 how does the Aitreya Brahmana divide India geographically? Answer: Eastern, Western, Northern, Central, Southern. 161 what was the main economic activity in the Rigvedic period? Answer: Pastoralism. 162 what items were considered wealth in the Rigvedic economy? Answer: cattle, horses, chariots, gold, and slave girls. 163 where did the Rigvedic people primarily practice pastoralism? Answer: along the banks of the Saraswati river. 164 what was the primary source of wealth for the Rigvedic people? Answer: cattle. 165 what were the key activities to increase wealth in Rigvedic society? Answer: cattle raids and breeding cattle. 166 what does the term Gavasthi refer to in Rigvedic society? Answer: cattle raiding and accumulation. 167 what type of relationship existed between pastoralists and agriculturalists in the Rigvedic period? Answer: a reciprocal, symbiotic relationship. 168 how did the economy change in the later Vedic period? Answer: from pastoralism to agriculture. 169 what is the evidence of the shift to agriculture in the later Vedic period? Answer: decline in dairy product offerings and increased agricultural products in sacrifices. 170 what was a key feature of the agrarian economy in the later Vedic period? Answer: labor-intensive agrarian economy with irrigation and land control. 171 what type of agriculture was practiced in the later Vedic period? Answer: wet rice cultivation and plough agriculture. 172 how did agriculture impact social structure in the later Vedic period? Answer: it created a social distance between laborers and landowners. 173 how was land viewed in the later Vedic period? Answer: as an item of wealth vested in the clan. 174 what archaeological evidence suggests agriculture before the Vedic period? Answer: the presence of the Asuras who had knowledge of agricultural seasons. 175 what role did cattle rearing play in later Vedic society? Answer: cattle rearing remained significant, especially in the western Ganga plain. 176 what was the relationship between the chief Raja and the priest Brahman in the later Vedic period? Answer: the chief and priest had a reciprocal relationship, with priests receiving booty from raids. 177 what were the major implements for agriculture in the Rigvedic period? Answer: implements like Langla plough, which had non-Aryan names. 178 how did the Rigvedic people acquire wealth from cattle? Answer: through breeding and cattle raids. 179 what does Vraja refer to in the Rigvedic period? Answer: grazing grounds for cattle. 180 was land ownership common in the Vedic period? Answer: yes, land was recognized as wealth owned by the clan. Animals in the Vedic period. 181 what was the main occupation of the Aryans in the early Vedic period? Answer. Cattle breeding pastoralism. 182. What animals did the Aryans domesticate? Answer. Cattle, horses, sheep, goats, dogs, and asses. 183. What were the uses of cattle in the early Vedic period? Answer. Cattle were used for meat, dairy products, and agricultural purposes. 184. What role did horses play in early Vedic society? Answer. Horses were used for drawing chariots and as mounts in war. 185. What wild animals were known in the early Vedic period? Answer. Lion, elephant, and bear. 186. What does the term Gomat mean in the early Vedic period? Answer. A wealthy man, literally one who possesses cattle. Agriculture in the Vedic period. 187. How was agriculture practiced in the early Vedic period? Answer. It was practiced to a limited extent, with references to plowing, sowing, harvesting, and irrigation. 188. What crops were cultivated in the early Vedic period? Answer. Wheat, barley, beans, sesame, and cotton. 189. What improvements were seen in agriculture during the later Vedic period? Answer. The plough improved, manure use increased, and rice cultivation became extensive. 190. What type of rice was cultivated in the later Vedic period? Answer. Sastika rice, a rainy season crop that ripens in 60 days. 191. What was the concept of individual land ownership in the later Vedic period? Answer. Individual property in land for cultivation was recognized. Industry in the Vedic period. 192. What crafts were practiced in the Rig Vedic period? Answer. Carpentry, metalworking, tanning, weaving, pottery, and more. 193. What new occupations emerged in the later Vedic period? Answer. Chariot makers, dyers, washermen, hairdressers, makers of bows and arrows, and more. 194. What metals were known in the later Vedic period? Answer. Lead, tin, silver, gold, copper, and iron. 195. How did metallurgy improve in the later Vedic period? Answer. Iron became more common, and other metals like lead and tin were also used. Trade in the Vedic period. 196. How was trade conducted in the early Vedic period? Answer. Trade was mainly through barter, with cattle as a medium of exchange. 197. Who were the main traders in the early Vedic period? Answer. The Panis, a class of traders known for their greed. 198. How did trade evolve in the later Vedic period? Answer. Trade increased, guilds gunas formed, and money lending became common. 199. What types of currency were used in the later Vedic period? Answer. Gold pieces such as nishkas, satamanas, and suvarnas. Political organization and evolution of monarchy. 200. What was the role of the Rajanya in the Rigvedic period? Answer. The Rajanya were ruling families or chiefs, often chosen based on heroic qualities. 201. What term replaced Rajanya in the later Vedic period? Answer. Kshatriya, meaning the ruler or person with power. 202. What relationship existed between the Kshatriyas and the Vis clans in the later Vedic period? Answer. The Kshatriyas gained more control over the Vis, leading to subordination of the clans. 203. What were the Janpadas and how were they named? Answer. Janpadas were territories settled by clans, often named after Kshatriya lineages. 204. What was the role of the Grihapati in the later Vedic period? Answer. The Grihapati was the patriarchal head of a household, commanding family labor and that of Sudras and Dasas. 205. What is the significance of the term Praja in the later Vedic period? Answer. Praja refers to the people who were obedient to the Kshatriya, including non-kin and non-lineage groups like Sudras. 206. How did the emergence of Janpadas lead to stratification in society? Answer. Janpadas led to the formation of more distinct territories and the rise of a hierarchical social structure with varying roles for Kshatriyas, Vis, and Sudras. 207. What is the meaning of Bali in the Vedic period? Offering tribute. 208. What does Bhaga refer to in the Vedic context? Share distribution. 209. What does Sulka represent in the Rig Veda? Measure of value. 210. When did these terms evolve into forms of taxes? Post-Vedic period. 211. Who primarily elected the Raja in the Rig Veda? The Vis clans. 212. What role did the Raja have in the early Vedic period? Leader in battle, protector. 213. What did the Raja's consecration rituals symbolize in the later Vedic period? Claims to sovereignty. 214. What concept replaced the term Rajanya? Kshatriya. 215. What is the significance of the term Kshatra? Temporal authority, power. 216. What ritual emphasized gift-giving among the ruling classes? Rajya, sacrifice. 217. Where did the lineage system see arrested growth? Western Ganga Valley. 218. What was one reason the lineage system continued in the Western Ganga Valley? Availability of land. 219. What key resource helped transition to a full-fledged state in the Middle Ganga Valley? Trade. 220. What new role did the Kshatriya take in the Middle Ganga Valley? Claimed greater power. 221. Which archaeological cultures show different community sizes in the Ganga Valley? PGW and NBPW. 222. What method did the lineage system in the Western Ganga Valley use to reproduce itself? Fission. 223. What was the basic unit of political organization in the Rig Vedic period? Family Kula. 224. Who headed the family or Kula? Kulpa or Grihapati. 225. What was the head of a village called in the Rig Vedic period? Gramani. 226. What unit comprised a group of villages? Vis. 227. Who led the tribe Jana in the Rig Vedic period? Rajan, tribal chief. 228. What term was used for a territorial kingdom in the later Vedic period? Rashtra or Janpada. 229. Was kingship hereditary in the Rig Vedic period? Yes, in many cases. 230. Which king is described as semi-divine in the Rig Veda? Purukutsa. 231. What role did the king have in the Rig Vedic period? Protector of cattle, warrior, and prayer leader. 232. Which rituals increased royal power in the later Vedic period? Rajsuya, Ashwamedha, Vajpaya. 233. What was the purpose of the Rajsya sacrifice? To confer supreme power on the king. 234. What was the purpose of the Ashwamedha sacrifice? To establish supremacy over neighbors. 235. What was the role of the Vajpaya sacrifice? To reaffirm the king's supremacy within his kingdom. 236. Who performed the Ashwamedha sacrifice according to later Vedic texts? Kings such as Para of Kosala, Satanika, Satrajita, and Purukutsa Akshvaku. 237. What did the Aitreya and Sataptha Brahmanas describe about kingship? The king was seen as a god or the visible symbol of god Prajapati. 238. What was one theory on the origin of kingship in the later Vedic period? Divine origin or the need for a leader in warfare. 239. Could the king grant land in the later Vedic period? Yes, but without conferring ownership over the cultivators. 240. What does the term Gana refer to? Republic or assembly. 241. Which tribes were described as having a Virajya form of government? Uttarkurus and Uttarmadras. 242. What assembly was more popular in the Rig Vedic period? Vitta. 243. What was the primary function of the Vitta? Settling disputes and performing sacrifices. 244. What did the Sabha do in the Rig Vedic period? Executive functions and resolutions. 245. What was the main function of the Samiti? Electing the king. 246. Which assemblies lost importance in the later Vedic period? Vitta and Gana. 247. Who dominated the Sabha and Samiti in the later Vedic period? Nobles and Brahmins. 248. What replaced the Sabha and Samiti in the later Vedic period? Mantri Prishad and official machinery. 249. Who was the chief priest in the Rig Vedic period? Purohita. 250. Who was responsible for command in battle? Senani. 251. Who managed the pasture lands in the Rig Vedic period? Vrajapti. 252. What official served as a spy? Spasa. 253. Who was responsible for maintaining law and order? Jivagribha police official. 254. Who was the head of the village in the Rig Vedic period? Gramani. 255. Who was in charge of the family in the Rig Vedic period? Dampati or Lulapa. 256. Was there a tax collector in the Rig Vedic period? No, there were no officials for tax collection. 257. What was the income of the chief in the Rig Vedic period? Voluntary offerings, bali, and spoils of war. 258. What new officials emerged in the later Vedic period due to economic changes? Bhagdugha tax collector, Sangrahitri treasurer. 259. What were some other new officials in the later Vedic period? Mahishi, Suta, Kshata, Akshavapa, Govikartana, Takshan, Rathakra, Palgla. 260. Who invoked Aditi during the Rajsuya coronation? Mahishi chief queen. 261. Who invoked Brihaspati during the Rajsuya coronation? Purohita priest. 262. Who invoked Agni during the Rajsuya coronation? Senani commander. 263. Who invoked Pusan during the Rajsuya coronation? Bhagdugha tax collector. 264. Who invoked Ashwins during the Rajsuya coronation? Sangrahitri treasurer. 265. Who invoked Varuna during the Rajsuya coronation? Suta court minstrel. 266. Who invoked Savitri during the Rajsuya coronation? Kshata chamberlain. 267. Who invoked Rudra during the Rajsuya coronation? Govikartana keeper of games and forests. 268. Who invoked Maruts during the Rajsuya coronation? Gramani head of the village. 269. Who administered justice in both the Rig-Vedic and later Vedic periods? Village assemblies. 270. Did the king have a standing army in the Vedic period? No. Armies were mustered in times of war. 271. What type of political system existed in the Rig-Vedic period? Tribal system of government. 272. What type of political system emerged in the later Vedic period? Monarchy and some republics. 273. What was the primary cause for the political transformation in the later Vedic period? Increasing importance of agriculture and settled life. 274. What were the two main divisions in the early social structure? Arya and Dasa. 275. What distinguished the Aryas from the Dasas? Aryas were distinguished by wealth, status, and inclusion in the circuit of prestations and redistribution, while Dasas were excluded from these benefits. 276. What did the term Dasa likely refer to in the Rig-Vedic period? Agricultural communities, possibly from the late Harappan or post-Harappan cultures. 277. What was a major distinguishing characteristic of the Dasyus? Their variant religious beliefs and customs, which were seen as contrary to those of the Aryas. 278. How was the Varna system developed? It emerged as a system of categorizing society based on economic and social changes, with the four Varnas later associated with different colors. 279. Which groups were included in the Aryas according to the Varna system? Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. 280. What are the two major genealogies that Kshatriyas were associated with? Suryavansha solar and Chandravansha lunar. 281. What did the concept of Gotra signify? A kinship group or descent group, particularly among Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and it emphasized exogamy marriage outside the clan. 282. What was the role of the grama in the Vedic social structure? The grama was the village or community, composed of multiple families, and the grama headman Gramani was in charge of the village or collective community. 283. What was the relationship between Brahmanas and Kshatriyas in the Vedic period? Brahmanas depended on Kshatriyas for dana and dakshina ritual gifts, while Kshatriyas needed Brahmanas to legitimize their power through rituals. 284. What role did the Sudras play in Vedic society? Sudras were the laboring class and were generally associated with servility in the earlier texts. 285. What is the term used for mixed castes or the offspring of intercaste marriages? Sankirna or mixed jati. 286. What were the Vratyas? Vratyas were individuals from the higher castes such as Kshatriyas who did not observe the required rituals and were considered degraded. 287. Who were the untouchables in Vedic society? The lowest caste or those excluded from the Varna system, often referred to as the outcasts in later texts. 288. What was the significance of pollution in the Vedic caste system? The concept of pollution maintained the distance between the higher castes Dvijas and the Sudras, with pollution also applied to those who did not follow proper rituals, such as the Vratyas. 289. What was the Varna system visualized as? A structure for integrating subsystems. 290. From which Vedic text is the origin of the four Varnas described? Purush Sukta. 291. What does the term Kula refer to? Family. 292. Who was the master of the house in Vedic society? Grihapati, Dampati, or Kulpati. 293. What was the ritual associated with honoring a guest? Atithi guest was a religious duty in the 5 great daily sacrifices. 294. What was the family practice regarding sons in later Vedic society? Primogeniture, eldest son succeeds father. 295. What system did Rig Vedic society follow for caste? Castes were chosen by individuals, not based on birth. 296. What does the term Varna literally mean? Color. 297. How were the Dasas described in relation to the Aryans? They were seen as inferior and gradually transformed into Sudras. 298. Which 4 divisions are mentioned in the Purush Sukta? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. 299. What was the role of the Vis in the Rig Veda? A group of people who followed animal breeding, not Vaishya. 300. Which 2 Varnas gained more privileges during the later Vedic period? Brahmans and Kshatriyas. 301. Which god was associated with Brahmans among the gods? Agni and Brihaspati. 302. What did Kshatriyas sometimes claim in relation to Brahmans? Higher status. 303. What was the primary role of the Vratyas and Nishadas? Vratyas were Aryans outside Brahmanism, Nishadas were non-Aryans. 304. What is the term for the stages of life in Vedic society? Ashramas. 305. How many asramas are there? 4. 306. What are the 4 stages of life in the asrama system? Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanprastha, Sannyasin. 307. What is the significance of the Upnayana sacrament? It marks the beginning of student life. Brahmacharya. 308. What does the term Gotra literally mean? Cowpen. 309. When did the institution of Gotra first appear? Later Vedic period, Atharva Veda. 310. What practice did Gotra exogamy introduce? Marriage between persons of the same Gotra was prohibited. 311. Which group particularly emphasized the importance of Gotra? Brahmans. 312. What was the common marriage practice in Vedic society? Monogamy. 313. What was the rare marriage practice in Vedic society? Polyandry. 314. What was levirate or niyoga? A dead man's brother marrying his widow. 315. Were child marriages common in Vedic society? No. 316. Did women have the right to attend religious ceremonies and assemblies? Yes. 317. Was the practice of sati common during the Vedic period? No, it had mostly gone out of vogue. 318. Did women lose political rights in the later Vedic period? Yes. 319. What did the Kshatriya Brahmana say about daughters? They were a source of misery. 320. Did matrilineal elements exist in later Vedic society? Yes. 321. What was the status of women in relation to religious ceremonies? They participated in rituals and ceremonies but were subordinate. 322. Since when has slavery existed in Indian society? Since Rig Vedic times. 323. What type of slavery was common in the Vedic period? Women slaves for domestic purposes. 324. How was slavery in ancient India different from Greek or Roman slavery? Slaves had decent treatment and certain rights. 325. Did Rig Vedic Aryans have the ability to read and write? No. 326. When did the later Vedic Aryans likely start using a script? Around 700 BC. 327. What was the primary method of education in Vedic society? Oral instruction and memorization. 328. Who was allowed to receive education in the Vedic period? Higher castes, especially Brahmins. 329. What subjects were commonly studied in Vedic education? Arithmetics and grammar. 330. What were Vedic samanas? Popular institutions for poets, artists, archers, and riders. 331. What is the belief system in Vedic religion? Henotheism. 332. How many divinities are mentioned in the Vedic pantheon? 33. 333. What are the three categories of Vedic divinities? Terrestrial, atmospheric, celestial. 334. Which god is considered the most important in the Rig Vedic period? Indra. 335. What was Indra's significant victory in the Rig Veda? Victory over Vritra. 336. Who is the second most important god in the Rig Vedic period? Agni. 337. What is Agni's role in the Vedic religion? Mediator. 338. Which god personified water and upheld cosmic order? Varuna. 339. What was the role of Soma in Vedic religion? God of plants. 340. Who is the sun god in the Vedic pantheon? Surya. 341. What is Ushas the goddess of? Dawn. 342. Which new gods emerged in the later Vedic period? Prajapati, Vishnu, Rudra. 343. What was the evolution of Rudra's cult linked to? Harappan cult. 344. Which class had a special deity named Pushan? Sudras. 345. What was the tendency in Vedic religion towards both monotheism and monism? Both. 346. What concept was not clearly developed in the Rig Vedic period regarding life after death? Metempsychosis. 347. Which Upanishad mentions the theory of karma? Brihadaranyaka. 348. What was the mode of worship in the Rig Vedic period? Sacrifices. 349. What type of sacrifices were common in the later Vedic period? Sattaras. 350. What were the chief priests in Vedic rituals? Hotri, Udgatri, Advaryu, Brahman. 351. What movement protested against the divine origin of the Vedas and rituals? Sramana. 352. Who was the first thinker to call attention to Sramanas? Yajnavalkya. 353. What did the Aranyakas emphasize as opposed to formal sacrifice? Inner sacrifice. 354. Which Upanishad develops the doctrine of transmigration of soul? Brihadaranyaka. 355. What does the word Upanishad mean? Sit down. 356. What is the main topic of the Upanishads? Brahman. 357. How many Upanishads are there in total? 108. 358. Which Veda do the Aitareya and Kaushitaki Upanishads belong to? Rig Veda. 359. Which Veda do the Chandogya and Kena Upanishads belong to? Sama Veda. 360. Which Veda do the Taittiriya, Katha, and Shvetashvatra Upanishads belong to? Yajur Veda. 361. Which Veda do the Prashna, Mundaka, and Mandukya Upanishads belong to? Atharva Veda. 362. How many major Upanishads are considered part of the Vedic literature? 12. 363. Which school of thought wrote commentaries on 11 Upanishads? Sankara. 364. What was the focus of the Upanishadic thought? Meditation. 365. What does the Upanishadic tradition emphasize over intellectual conviction? Experience. 366. What did the Upanishads seek to reinterpret? Sacrificial rites. 367. What was the attitude of Upanishadic sages towards priestly rituals? Critical. 368. Which tradition opposed the Upanishadic teachings? Buddhism. 369. What was the major turning point in Indian thought marked by the Upanishads? Meditation. 370. Which philosophical concept appeared in the Upanishads for the first time? Karma. 371. Which Upanishad contains the doctrine of Tattvamasi? Chandogya Upanishad. 372. How do the Upanishads relate to other philosophical traditions? Influential. 373. Which sects rejected the scriptural status of the Vedas but were influenced by the Upanishads? Nastika. 374. What is the main aim of Upanishadic teaching? Realization.